Hey there, beautiful souls. I'm Colynn Hlokoff.
And I'm Meridee Hlokoff.
And welcome to Spiritual Sisters with Sass, the podcast where two sisters with a passion for spirituality and a touch of sass come together to explore the exciting world of self-improvement.
That's right, Colynn. We embarked on this incredible journey together, diving into different self-improvement techniques, yoga practices, and a whole array of life experiences.
Yeah, and through it all, we've managed to create lives that are abundant, happy, and constantly evolving. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it, Meridee?
You bet, sis. We've got two very different perspectives on life, but that's what makes this podcast so special. I'm all about diving in head first into life's adventures and embracing every challenge with a bit of sass. While Colynn here, she's got her own unique approach.
Yep, that's me. And I'm all about the yoga, mindfulness, and finding my zen. And together we make the perfect balance.
So whether you're looking for some wisdom, a few laughs, or just some heartfelt stories, you're in the right place. We're here to share our personal experiences and insights with you, all while exploring the wild and diverse world of self-improvement.
So grab your headphones and get ready for a fantastic journey with us. Spiritual Sisters with Sass is here to uplift, inspire, and keep it real.
Thanks for tuning in, lovely listeners. Let's dive in.
Spirit and sass. Here we go.
Okay, I'll introduce. So hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Spiritual Sisters with Sass. We have a special guest this week. Thank you so much, Nick, for coming on. This is my business coach. He is probably, everybody knows I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching. And I have to tell you that so far, this is the best investment I have made. My sister has watched a few of his support calls, sales calls with me because we were in Costa Rica together, and she was just like, wow. And then when I left, Lynn was like, holy shit, after the experience that you just had, we need to have him on here. So today we are going to talk about the divine masculine and feminine and healing the masculine. And Nick has, if you get a chance, go to his social media. On Instagram, he is Nick Komodina. Dina. And he has some amazing videos about men and women and how they can be friends. And that is kind of what like initiated this whole podcast. And I'm super excited to get into this today, you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Lynn, why don't you go ahead and ask Nick a question to get us started?
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you so much for coming on, Nick. What inspired this is Meridee had an interesting date while we were all in Mexico City. And it's just, I live in a place where there are a lot of men doing the work on themselves in the toxic masculine. And a lot of women doing themselves on actually the toxic masculine themselves, myself included. And I just am surprised when I run back into something that just like brings me back to the patriarchy, basically is how I can explain it that makes sense to me. So I've overheard a couple things that you've said on your Instagram, and it's just like, I'm so happy that not every man is in this like old school mindset. And so I wanted to bring you on and have you maybe speak so that men can hear you. And so I think maybe just start, if you're okay, sharing about your background and how you came to your own spiritual awakening or consciousness around this.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Meridee, thank you for the kind words. Makes me sound better than I am, surely. So I guess spark notes of how I got to here. I grew up in a trailer park, very poor, just me and my mom. I didn't have a father around. He walked out when I was about 2, and didn't really realize it when I was younger, but growing up without a masculine role model to show you how to walk through life, how to treat women, how to treat yourself, how to lead, I didn't have that. And so I had to pick and derive that through TV shows or anime that I was watching. So one of my favorite TV shows, I still watch it as a grown man, is Dragon Ball Z. And it's this anime about dudes that are so powerful and they scream and they get caught on fire with energy. It's like the fucking best. And there's one of the main characters, his name is Vegeta, and he's this very big, pompous, egotistical, aggressive, angry fighter. And he was always so cool to me. And little did I know, I really imprinted on him as a father figure in my life. And so he actually taught me what I thought it was to be masculine. And it's really interesting now that I'm where I am now. If we really look at some symbolism, even in, do you guys know the show? Do you guys know Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, our
I
brother
don't.
used to watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have Vegeta's basically number two, and then you have the main character Goku, who's number one. And so what's really interesting that we see now is that Vegeta really represents the wounded masculine, and Goku really represents the divine masculine. And throughout the journey of the show, Vegeta starts to kind of heal and open up and become more divine. And then his energy and his power starts to actually match Goku's. But for most of the show, Goku always is number one. No matter what Vegeta does, he's never as strong as Goku. Goku always ends up protecting everybody. He always ends up saving the day. And that's because that's what the real divine masculine power is. So Goku's just the nicest guy. He's all, even the guys that he's fighting, he's just joking, he's laughing, he's trying to not hurt them. He's like, hey, come on, let's not fight. And so recognizing that now is like, wow, it's such a profound show. But back then I didn't know any better. And my mom didn't really know how to love me. She had her own wounds. My grandma was the most angry woman on the planet. I mean, she was racist. I mean, it was hysterical. We would joke how she was just this angry old woman. And I never once stopped to think, because I didn't know any better, that that's my mom's mom. That's the person that taught my mom what love is. And so my mom never even felt unconditional love growing up. So how could she unconditionally love herself? So how could she ever unconditionally love me? So I walked through life with a massive abandonment wound from the masculine and a massive love abandonment wound from the feminine. And I was just very angry and confused. I didn't know how to get my needs met. I didn't know what my needs were. And subconsciously, I would manipulate people around me to get what I needed. And this really turned to me, being that quote unquote fuck boy for quite a bit. And I didn't I didn't even understand intimacy. I just understood, well, that's an attractive woman. And if I fuck her, then I've conquered her. And if I've conquered her, then I'm safe, I'm desirable, and I'm the man. And so that would be really the only lens that I would see women through. And I would have this ego about me where any woman that was in my life that was a friend, oh, I could fuck her if I wanted to. Oh, secretly she wants to fuck me. So whenever an opportunity would present itself, I would lean in just a little bit and, have my hand lightly touch her thigh. It just continued to spiral and spiral and spiral. And I really just didn't know who I was. And when we don't know who we are, we start to hurt people that challenge any sort of perception that we think is going to keep us safe. And that really is, I mean, I was the walking embodiment of a wounded masculine and a wounded feminine, which is just a very interesting cocktail of fuckery to be dealing with as somebody who has no depth. I don't know how to look at myself. Meditation's woo woo. I don't know what this fucking means. If you are emotional, you're a pussy, like get over it. And it was just so unconscious is really what it was. So, and this led me to having a lot of relationships, well, every relationship really, where my partner ended up cheating on me. Every relationship I got cheated on. And it would reinforce that I can't trust love and I can't trust women. And I had this vendetta of women. So I need to fuck more of them to keep myself safe. And I just really needed to objectify women, because to see a woman as my equal, or to really surrender and love her and put everything into her the way that she needed to, put me at risk. Because if I did that and she left again, then I was re-abandoned by my mother. So if I could objectify them and just use them as a means to fuck whenever I was ready and they left, then I could also have this subconscious cushion of, well, it's not like I really tried. It's not like I was really giving her anything. So it makes sense that she would leave. It's not me, it's her. And it was just really lonely. It was really sad. And my anger continued. And then that stopped making me feel like a man. So I started chasing money. And I thought money would make me feel valuable. So I went and grew and scaled my company. And I was doing about $4 million a year in my business. I had the car, the house, the girlfriend, the supercar, the business, the bottles, the everything. And I was the most empty I'd ever been in my entire life. She was cheating on me with my best friends. I knew it, but I didn't have the stability in myself to even walk away going on. And I didn't know who I was anymore. And I found myself in my backyard with my gun to my head, ready to pull the trigger, because I had lost everything that I perceived is what made me me. And through that, I found God. Thank God. Um, and I started to really just say, okay, it's time for me to stop running. It's time for me to sit in my shit and really figure this out. And I hired some mentors and I read a lot of books, and I really just said, hey, this is the area of my life that I'm really challenged in the most, is relationships. I don't understand intimacy because I don't understand myself. I'm so afraid of love because love has only hurt me and abandoned me. And that can't be the truth. And, society's telling me that men are weak if they cry, and men are weak if they love, and men are weak if they show compassion and understanding and have conversations that are not surface level. And there was just enough of something inside of me to say, I don't think that that's true, to get me curious. And I worked, I studied under David Detta, I studied under G.S. Youngblood, and just some incredible authors of masculine leadership and relationship books. And I really started to understand, and I could see it was a universal truth, and I felt it. And once I really allowed that universal truth in me to say, yeah, maybe it's not my role actually about me. What if this is something deeper? What if there is something, and I believe this is in every man, what if there's this energy of God inside of me waiting for me to access it, so that I can actually provide the love, the structure, the safety, and the security and the leadership for everyone around me? And when I started having a higher quality conversation, the quality of my life started reflecting that. The quality of my relationships started reflecting that. Who I believed myself to be, I started walking different, acting different, thinking different. I would get in conflicts with partners of women, and I was no longer taking them personally and reacting and trying to tell her that what she was feeling was wrong and trying to hit her with all the facts. I was able to just kind of stand grounded in it and look through what she was saying, and say, wow, you're really hurt right now. Tell me more about that. And it's in that real groundedness of holding the space for the feminine that she really can drop her guard and really feel that her man isn't just this emotionally reactive boy who she can't trust his leadership. And that's really the conversation that's the most popular right now is, well, if a woman is emotional and she's going to act crazy, don't put up with that and walk out. And it's like, I hate to say this, and with so much respect to women, if you're waiting to be with a woman who's not emotional, you might as well just be gay, because women are
Yes.
emotional. Women are emotional.
Yeah.
And that's part of the beauty of women, is that they allow men to really feel. And your woman is kind of your oracle. She's really reactive to where you're coming up short. And when you can start really seeing it that way without taking offense, if I can say, well, my woman's yelling at me right now for not taking the trash out. Instead of, oh, damn, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know, I work all day, you have a roof over your head, I'm doing this. I just want to fucking sit for a second, not take the trash out. No, typically it's, well, I told her that I would and I didn't. So now she feels like I don't care about her. And to men, that seems crazy, because we're logical. Men are logical thinkers. Well, I was gone at work for 8 hours. I made this much money and we have the roof over our head. I want to have a beer for a second. Women don't think that way. And that's just the truth. So in that moment, if men can learn that it's not an attack on who they are, it's really their woman reflecting back, hey, I don't feel safe right now because I feel like you don't care about me. And he can just say, oh, you know what, baby? I did promise you I was going to take the trash out and I completely spaced. Like, that's my bad. I fucked up. Let me go do it right now. I know I know I shouldn't have done that. And that's simple. But most men are so wounded that they think that makes them weak. I mean, the amount of wounded men that I get in my comments saying, you're such a simp. Oh, you're such a pussy. Oh, yeah. Okay, dude, all you want is women to reach out to you. Like, you're such a pussy. And I'm like, imagine learning how to regulate yourself so that a woman doesn't make you react emotionally is weak. And that's a really important conversation we need to be having, because that's not, well, it is reality to some people, but it's not a conducive reality if what we want to do is create environments where men can heal and women can heal as a byproduct of that.
Yeah, I agree. And I love everything you just said. And that kind of brings me to our Mexico City experience, where one of the things I was being taught was that men and women are very different. She's laughing because you're going to love this, Nick. Men and women are built different. We're just different human beings. And I agree. Like you just said, like, men are a lot more logical and women are a lot more emotional.
Well, real quick,
We also
I just want
we
to
also can
clarify on that just
yeah.
real quick. And so, really, we would say, and I've learned to be very politically correct when I speak about this stuff. The feminine energy is very emotional.
Right.
The masculine energy is very matter of fact. Now, these energies a man can be fully feminine, a woman can be fully masculine, and they can have an amazing relationship because the energies just need to have polarity. For sake of conversation, let's just say femininity is women and masculinity is men. So I just wanted to preface that so that nobody blows a head gasket.
Yes. So in this, I was told that there was a couple of things that happened in this conversation, but the one that stands out with what you're saying is, he said to me, men and women are just built differently. And I was like, I agree, because I even know people who are trans who have either started taking testosterone or started taking, female hormone, because of the hormones is completely different. So it's really interesting there. But what he tried to tell me was that a man will cheat on his wife, but want to be with her forever because he loves her. But a woman, when she cheats, she leaves. And my response to that was, a woman typically doesn't cheat until she's done with the relationship. And then they leave because they're done with the relationship. And what I asked, because I didn't really want to get into it, was I asked, well, can you help me understand how you can say you love someone and want to be with them forever, but you go and cheat on them? Because I don't cheat. I've never cheated. It's just not in my blood because I've been cheated on and I know how that feels. So how do you say I love someone and then completely disrespect them in that way?
So I think that, one, I can't define what somebody's definition of love is for themselves. So if that's his experience, then okay. Because for me to say, oh, you don't cheat on somebody that you love, that's me kind of taking my experience of the world and saying this should be everybody's. And I'm also have an ego, so I think that that's the truth. But for sake of conversation, we'll keep it here. And when I think that as this is the conversation, right? They say, well, men are biologically engineered to spread their seed, and
Literally the words that came out of his mouth.
right, like we're meant to just fuck all the women and get them all pregnant and just have a bunch of me's running around. And sure, that can be your experience. If we look at really like the divine aspect of things, when you really have done the work to be what we consider the divine masculine, and you do find your divine feminine counterpart, it almost feels impossible to want to go plant your seed with somebody else, because you've realized what we have in this love, we want to bring that into the world more. We want another manifestation of this consciousness and energy connection that we have. And so to think that, well, hang on, because consciousness is continuously evolving.
Yes.
As we continue to evolve consciously, we will start to be less primal and more spiritual. And that's why, the art of really balancing that divine masculine and that dark primal masculine is so, well, great. Especially in the sexual sense, because there is that primal aspect of sex that both women and men thoroughly enjoy, and for good reason. But when men have this evolution that is stuck in lower levels of consciousness, in this primalness, in this survival state, fight or flight, unworthiness of love, abandonment wounds, all of these wounds that keep us in those lower three energy centers, that shame, that guilt, that fear, well, we start to operate as primal animals. We stop having this willpower. We stop having this devotion to the divine, and we start looking for ways to escape. So this is where porn addictions and masturbation addictions come from. And most men, when they masturbate, it's like this daily practice for them. It's, oh, I masturbate every night before bed. Why? Why do you do that? Because for men, when we ejaculate, that's our life force energy. I mean, that when men wonder why they're so tired and drained and don't have this willpower and drive to go do things, and I'm like, man, you're literally killing yourself, basically, all of your life force energy, just because what? You don't know how to sit with your emotions. You don't know how to soothe yourself. And when men ejaculate, it's really the closest experience that we get to a death. There is just a sense of pure stillness and bliss did to that, because life is stressful and we feel unworthy. And kind of like we said earlier, if I'm so let's just say I'm this man who you're in conversation with, who's thinking this way. If I'm in relationship with my woman, I love her, and for some reason, I can't get her to respect me. I can't get her to submit to me. I can't get her to trust me, because I'm not stepping up into my divine masculinity. I'm super reactive. She's nitpicky. It feels like she's nitpicking at everything that I'm doing, which, for any men listening, when the feminine nitpicks, she's really looking for that king to come out. And it's subconscious. Most women aren't even aware that they're doing this. Like, I don't know why I can't stop just tearing apart everything he does. It's because women are subconsciously just really searching for that man to step up and emerge and say, hey, I can take care of it. Thank you. Not, why the fuck do you have to yell at me every time I'm going to do it? It's like the child versus the king. And women are subconsciously picking, because they're trying to see, is he going to be reactive, or is he going to really stand firm? And is he going to give me that daddy energy to just really put me in my place and stay grounded? Because women love that, because you can feel the divine energy in that. You can feel that grounded, safe presence. And so women are always testing their men. So we have to get used to, we just have to get used to that. That's just literally a part of life. But if I don't understand this and I take that as a personalization that I am unworthy as a man and I'm not man enough, I can't conquer my woman. Well, now I'm going to go find the next woman that I can.
Yeah.
So men will cheat because they can't evolve themselves high enough to get a high quality woman to submit to them. So that's one aspect. We have the feminine wound. We have the mother wounds. We have the abandonment wounds where any woman who gives me attention, I need to go and just go all into that because to me, I have a lack of safety from the feminine. So it's kind of like when a starving kid comes in and sees a dining hall of food. He doesn't trust that it's going to be there all the time. So they're just going to eat and eat and eat, eat themselves sick, even if they don't need to eat anymore. They're still trained in their nervous system that, well, food is scarce. I don't always get food. So I need to make sure that any opportunity I have for food, I eat as much as I can. And that's a lot of things that we see this in men and women when it comes to sexual dynamics or masculine presence or feminine presence. If I don't feel like I'm grounded and get that and it's stable, then I'm a victim to anywhere I get that from.
You know, I love all the things that you're saying. And I find that I am on the spectrum healing now of being in my toxic masculine. Like all the things that you're saying, Nick, are things that I've experienced, like lack of emotion. I mean, I used to be an ER nurse. I like have not, I'm just learning how to have emotion now. My father, who is a lot of like what we're talking about here, is the person that I looked up to. I mean, he told me when I was probably 10 a joke about like, do you know what you call the useless skin around the vagina? A woman. And that is kind of like how I've taken that energy into the world and never been able to find a divine
I'm
masculine.
sorry. I
I
was
know.
trying to hold a laughing. It's not funny. I'm laughing at how stupid it is.
At how
Yeah.
stupid it is, right? And taking that into the world and then never being able to find that man that can put me in my place or be a king, really. And so then I tried to do that. I tried to be that, I guess, for myself, yet I was taught by a very sick individual himself. So instead, that's what I encompass: lack of emotion. Meridee's talking about how can you say you love someone and cheat on them? Well, hey guys, like I'm the one that cheated. I am that girl that was like, you're not enough. And as much as I bitch or complain, or don't bitch or complain, because that's what I did, was the opposite, is like, I'm not going to say anything and try to set it up so that you can be so successful. And then what I started to pull in was feminine men. And then, to be honest, at some point it was like, you know what, dudes are fucking idiots. I'm just going to go for chicks because I can find more masculine in a butchy lesbian than I can find in any man that I've been with now. And then here we are in a place of like actually being with a man that has healed a lot of the toxic, which is bringing me to my feminine, which is I'm like, oh shit. So I love how you also brought into the fact, like yoga speaks of this a lot. Chinese medicine says yin and yang. Yoga speaks of feminine and masculine energy. And in order for us to be balanced, we have to be in the divine of both. We have to find our balance, masculine and feminine, which is where I am right now. And I mean, it's an interesting place to be, because I can like hear both of you. And I've always been like, oh my God, even dating women, I'm like, man, they're so emotional. Like this is so much. I can't handle this. Like I'm just gonna be by myself, I think maybe.
Yeah. It's really that, and this is an interesting side tangent of this conversation, but the polarities attract the polar opposite. So when women and a lot of women, and this is why I say when we heal the masculine, we heal the feminine. A lot of women are walking around with this massive masculine shield up, and they're going, you know what? The men in my life, my father, my brother, and my first boyfriend, or my first three boyfriends, or whatever, they've all shown me that they won't take care of me. And so I'm done with this. I'm going to take care of myself. And with the way the world is now, we over glamorize hustle culture, and women can be these successful entrepreneurs, and we don't need no men. Men are trash. And there's all these movements. And here's the thing. I'm I think feminism is the stupidest fucking thing on the planet. Feminism is actually toxic masculinity disguised by women, which is
Right?
so funny to think about. And there's, there's the good camps of feminism, but there's also like the majority camp of feminism, which is like women, fuck men, we can do whatever we
Don't
want. We can
open
do,
my door.
yeah, we can do anything a man can do, and you really can't.
We're
I
not
can't,
built the same.
I can't do everything that a woman can. A
No.
woman is just as valuable as me. Just because I say that I can do things that women can't doesn't mean that I sit here and saying I'm more valuable than women. It's there's a reason that there's a sacred union between masculine and feminine. There's a reason that you can only do so much healing on your own to be as whole as you can be. But when you're still whole on your own, you're still half of another whole. And so that's really what we have to understand. And anytime the word submit is such a trigger word for females right now,
Yeah.
because when you say submit to your husband or submit to your man, we have these wounds pop up that think that, oh, if I'm submitting to my man, that means that I let my man control everything about me. And that's not submission. If we look biblical and we look at etymology of words, sub is under and mission. So the woman serves under the man's mission. I can't go create this massive movement in the world that I'm making if I don't have my partner supporting me, if she's not serving me so that I can serve her. And there's this, and even if we really look at the divine masculine, divine feminine, men are supposed to be the hunters, the gatherers, the killers, and the women are supposed to be the nurturers. And that's why masculine energy, you ever tried to talk to a man while he's doing something for work? Can't get through to him.
Nope.
Like, because masculine is very one focused.
Yeah.
Feminine is very beautifully
Multitask.
orchestrated chaos. Well, women are meant to be mothers. So you can be on the phone and vacuum and write something down and watch TV and have a friend over and be cooking at the same time. I don't do that. I can't do that. And so when we can just understand that this whole submission thing is no, 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 no. I trust my man and where he's taking me. And I can have my own thing. And I'm just still going to support him because when I support him, he supports me by us both being in our polarities. And, like my partner is very driven in her business. She's a fucking killer. And she is so feminine because I can relax her into that energy. But if we come back home and she's hyper masculine from work all day and I'm still in and now our masculines are fighting because my masculine isn't divine. My masculine is forced. I'm doing the things that I think I should be doing to be masculine and I'm being lazy. Then her masculine's still up and she's going, well, get this done or get this done. And versus, hey, baby, you had a long day. Why don't you sit down? Why don't you rest for a little bit? Or maybe I'll tickle her a little bit and she's really intense and she's screaming at me. And I can, instead of reacting back to it, I can say, man, did I ever tell you how sexy you are when you're upset? Come here. And she's like, what? No, no. I'm like, no, come here. Let me pinch that butt real quick. Look at how cute you are. And it's just that little, you're not going to rock me. You're not going to move me. I love you. And we're gonna relax you and joke you out of this masculine. I'm gonna let you relax back into that feminine energy. You need it.
And that lets me then also take my pants off in those situations. I don't have to be the man anymore, which
Right.
is probably one of the problems that I've had in most of my relationships is when I come home, I want to feel safe enough that I can now be the girl.
Yep.
And I want to just be loved and taken care of. And it feels strange to even say it out loud because I'm that strong, independent woman who makes a decent amount of money and does all the things, and I can take care of myself and I don't need any men. I want one. I want one that I can be soft and settle into. Take my masculine pants off and leave them at the door and let my man just love me.
Well, we all need to be loved and nurtured. And the conversation around men is that we don't need that.
Right.
And that's why suicide in men is so high.
Right. Yeah.
Because they don't allow themselves to get it. And what I block myself off from receiving, I also block my ability to give.
Yeah.
And so we have so many men walking around just like very rigid. They're very stiff. They can't relax. And they're killing themselves because of it. I mean, men are going to early graves, prostate cancer, stress, suicide. It's all just a huge issue because men don't have the space really to be able to have someone say, hey, brother, relax for a second. Let's talk about this. What's coming up for you? And, we have these situations with men where if one of my guy friends pisses me off, and instead of really communicating that, we have this hyper masculinity, like, fuck you, man, that fucking pissed me off. Say that again, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And like, we're kind of joking, but we're kind of not, because it feels so uncomfortable to be able to just sit in what you're feeling and say, hey, brother, those words really hurt me just now. I It kind of feels like you don't take me seriously and you're making me a joke in front of everybody. That really hurts. Whoa. Well, hang on. All of a sudden, now I'm vulnerable. Now I'm a pussy. Now I'm weak. Now I'm not a man anymore. If you're afraid to do that, it's probably because it's the more challenging thing to do.
It takes courage to say things like that. To me, that makes you more masculine to be able to stop and say, you know what, this actually hurts my feelings, than it does make you feminine or emotional or anything. It literally is like, holy shit, he stepped up.
Mhm. And I think the real art of that is men being able to express what they want or what hurt them. But I don't need you to do anything different. I don't need you to do something different for my internal state to change. That's really the conversation of a child. So if I can say, let's just say you go up to you, and it's one of the biggest things for men is when their woman shuts them down for sex. And so let's say my woman's cooking dinner and I walk up behind her and I grab her from behind and I go, baby, let's go to the bed right now. And she goes, no, 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 I don't want it today. I'm cooking. Instead of me being, what the fuck? We never have sex. I can just kind of stay right there and I can say, no, I know you want it. And she goes, no, I really don't. I go, okay. And then I can smack her ass or something and say, well, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. This is like, it doesn't, I want you, and my emotional state is perfectly okay if I don't have you right now because I respect your boundaries. But that's not going to change what I want. And what most men do is, oh, I'd really like to have sex right now. Not tonight, I'm tired. Yeah, you're right. I'm kind of tired too. No, it's okay. Well, if you're tired, that's fine. But if you end up waking up, I want you. And there's just like that real, again, same thing, groundedness. It's, I know what I want. What I want matters, but I don't need it in order to feel okay. And so just like me asserting something, it's, let's say that my partner is out and I see her touching a man's shoulder at a bar. And instead of her coming back and me saying, what the fuck are you doing touching that guy's shoulder? You want to go home with him? You want to go? Is that what's up? Say, hey, baby, I noticed that you were talking to that guy at the bar and I saw you put your hand on his shoulder. And when you did that, I noticed that my stomach got really tight and I felt really nervous. And I think it feels like I'm having a hard time trusting you right now. And I guess my desire would be for us to kind of figure that out because I don't want to feel that. And so it's like, I didn't accuse her of anything. I just said, hey, here's what I saw. Here's what I experienced. And here's my desire. Can we talk about it? And so it's really that balance of, hey, what I want matters, what I'm experiencing matters, and I don't really need anybody else to play in that. I'm just going to express it. You know where I stand, and now you can orient around me however you see fit. And if you orient around that in a way that doesn't feel good for me, well, then I can lead myself out of the relationship. But that forcefulness, what the fuck? We never have sex. What's wrong with you? Or why are you fucking touching these guys? That's not how we get what we want. That's a temper tantrum.
Mixed with not taking out the garbage like you said you would and all the other shit. Like it to me, as you're saying it, there's where the feminine perspective comes in. It seems so clear. Like you're not you, but and in this situation, like you're not doing the things that you say you're gonna do, and then your reactions are incredibly off the charts, and then all you want is to fuck. That's all you're coming at me for. Wow. Okay, great. No, I'm cooking dinner because guess what? You didn't take the fucking garbage out again, so I had to. Then the compost, then them, blah, 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 right? So and you're having a temper tantrum because I touched some guy's shoulder that told me I looked beautiful today.
Right. It's again, it's the same dynamic as mother, son.
Yeah.
You clean the house all day, you put all of his toys away, you had to go clean up the trash,
Ugh.
and then you just start making dinner, and he comes downstairs from playing video games all day and goes, "Dinner's still not ready?" And then what do? Oh, I'm sorry. I was fucking cleaning the house all day while you were playing video games. Why don't you help me a little bit? So men are creating this mother son dynamic in their relationships because they don't know because they're not taught. And so like I'm not any men listening to this. If this is you and you can objectively look at that, it's really not your fault, but it is your responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, you're not the problem, but you are the solution. And that's really the conversation of empowering these men to say, hey, this is cool, but it's not cool anymore.
Right.
It's
I don't
cool.
I don't want to have sex with my son. I don't want the responsibility of this relationship becoming a mother-son relationship. I
Mhm,
want a man.
mhm,
But we're very important in healing the masculine as well, as like we stepping into the masculine role have been enablers because we are cooking the dinner and letting, our partner play video games all day and then, getting pissed off and then bitching about every little thing. That's it's like it's a whole, it's a
mhm,
partnership that we're
mhm.
all on in order to heal all of it. Because this is the first relationship I'm in currently in which I haven't felt like someone's mother. And my partner consistently reminds me, remember, grown ass man here, because I'm so used to trying to prevent my partner from failing, setting him up so he doesn't fail. Hey, did you call that thing? Hey, did you do this? Hey, can you also do this when you do this? Because for me, my partners have just like not had the knowledge breadth to like, if you're gonna go take the garbage out and the compost is right beside it, could you take them both out, please? So I've had to do this thinking for myself and my partner. And like Meridee said, I've literally told all of my partners, I feel like your mother, and now I don't want to have sex with you because it's disgusting, because you're like my child.
The cycle continues,
Yeah.
and so that's why I always say, I think it's really easy for men to say, well, she's not, or well, she will, if she would just,
Yeah.
and it's the same conversation you have about your mom because men aren't taking the initiative to say, okay, yeah, my woman's being a little crazy right now. She's not following my lead. She's not submitting to me sexually. There's something wrong with her. No. And albeit there's definitely cases where the woman is just like that and abusive, and
Yeah.
there's still the responsibility of the man of why did I attract a partner like this? But that's a different conversation. And I think if men can really ground into the space of, oh, my woman is really my mirror of where I'm coming up short as the masculine in this relationship. And can I learn to see my woman as that oracle, that person who is telling me, hey, you are not stepping up in this area, and I see the king in you. I know you're a king, and I'm trying to help you bring that out. And if men can't see that with the gratitude and not take it personally, men, if your woman's not bitching at you, then she doesn't care about you. So when the woman is poking at you, she's saying, I know my man. I know what king is in there, and I want him. And so the second that my woman starts complaining to me, I know, okay, I've stepped down a few steps from the king's throne. Thank you for bringing that to my awareness. I was getting a little lazy. That's really hard to ground into when we've conditioned ourselves to behave as the child.
Right. Touche. I feel like that's like mic drop.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. I
It-
loved this entire conversation. I appreciate you so much, Nick, for coming on here. And I appreciate you for what you're doing in the world, because
Thank you.
more men need to really start to heal themselves
Mhm.
so that the world can come back to this place. I
Yeah.
feel.
If I can share something that I'm creating for men
Please.
right now.
Please.
Yeah. So, um, Well, I guess really I kind of have to share a little bit of a personal story here first, and
Yeah.
then we can kind of get into it. And so I was at Electric Forest this last weekend
Okay.
and doing some acid in the middle of the forest. It was phenomenal. And I had been thinking after my last event how I needed to get back into real men's work because I was doing retreats a while ago, and I've been having those mentorships, and it was really amazing. I don't know why I stopped. And so I had masculine workshops at my apartment when I had my live event, had about 25 men over, and it was just so powerful. And I just went, yeah, I feel like I need to start doing that again. And I don't really know what that looks like. And at Electric Forest, I mean, I'm in the middle of the forest. I'm at peace. I'm on acid. I'm just fully open for some downloads. And really, I just had this big God moment of it's time. And it wasn't even a question. It was like I heard that it's time, and I just knew what I needed to do. And at the same time, I started getting, and I've had some issues, digestion and stomach wise, for probably 2+ years, and just kind of whatevered about it. But this day, my stomach was so swollen, it felt like daggers were in it. I was getting super sharp pains in my private area, and I couldn't go to the bathroom. And I'm like, this is abnormal what I'm feeling. So I actually ended up going to the medic tent, and through a bunch of questions and stuff, the medic told me, how long has this been going on? And I said, about 2 years. And he said, man, it actually kind of sounds like you have an enlarged prostate. And I was like, oh shit. And he said, have you just not gone and gotten yourself checked out? And I said, no, I've been busy. And he sat with me and he said, man, you really need to start taking care of yourself. And it kind of just like really hit me in that moment of, yeah, he's right, and he basically said, if you have had this for about 2 years, there's a pretty high chance of potential prostate cancer. And he said maybe those issues are because there's a mass that's pushing on stuff. And he said, I think we should call you an ambulance and get you an MRI. And I was like, dude, I'm on acid. I'm
No,
not going. I'm not going into the
Not
hospital.
today.
Dude, no way. But it was like this big wake up call for me. Okay, I'm not taking care of myself. And if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't take care of other people. And as I started walking out, one of the guys said, see you later, Captain America. Have a good one. And people call me Captain America all the time. And this time it pierced me so much differently. And it was like everything connected for me in that moment. And it just showed me exactly what I need to create for men. So I wrote something, if you guys are okay with me sharing it.
Yeah, please
Please.
do.
So I said, people have joked and called me Captain America for a long time. And I never realized how much I was taking that on in everything I did, always holding the shield in case anyone needed it. What I didn't know was that the same shield I picked up to defend was the same shield that was destroying me. An impossible battle to win. Fighting to keep up the shield and protect everyone while feeling it kill me. I can't put the shield down. I must stay strong. I need to get back up, but I have no strength to do so. Am I weak as a man? Is this what weakness is? Needing to protect the ones you love and not being able to. That's weakness. But who protects me? Who holds the shield up for me to rest? In war, we always protect the king. Men are at war with themselves and nobody's protecting the king. And what do we do without the king? So the king must rest. He must eat. He must be protected. So who's the king's guard? We are. So my new program for men is called King's Guard.
I love it.
I love that.
And the whole premise of me sharing that story is because men will not take care of themselves because they think that they can't take care of others if they're taking care of themselves. So they've abandoned themselves mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically. And so for Kingsguard, I really just sat and thought, how do I deliver all of that to men, every man? And well, we created a community, less than $100 a month, where we literally do all of that for men. Wealth support, fitness support, mental support, emotional support, masculine leadership support, relationship support, all of it. And I just, that was God saying it's time. So that's our new thing for men.
And how would men reach out to you and get in touch with you to find out more about this stuff?
Just my Instagram, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I should have it ready to launch within the next 2 weeks, hopefully. I've been really cranking on it.
Okay. And
Yeah.
we will tag how to spell his name and everything in the comments of the podcasts section or the description section so that you guys can find Nick if you're interested in starting to heal your divine masculine.
Happy to support any brothers who need it.
We appreciate you so much, Nick. Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, thanks guys for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this spirited journey today.
We hope you enjoyed diving into the world of self-improvement with us. Two sisters who found their own unique paths.
Remember, life is a tapestry of experiences, and it's how we embrace them that makes all the difference.
So whether you're on your yoga mat, exploring mindfulness, or simply navigating life's twists and turns, always keep that spirit and sass alive.
We are Colynn and Meridee Hlokoff, and we're here to remind you that happiness and abundance are within reach.
Stay connected with us on social media and keep those questions and stories coming. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, beautiful souls, keep doing the work, keep sharing your experiences, and keep living a life that's authentically you.
And never forget to add a little extra sass to your day.
Spirit and sass, always.